It's official. Governor Gavin Newsom has signed into law Assembly Bill 1078, which bans school boards from changing curriculum in their local districts and effectively silences the voice of parents when it comes to what children are taught in the classroom. Coming up, we'll tell you what Assembly Bill 1078 actually does and how parents are already organizing to fight back. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and as expected, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law this week Assembly Bill 1078, which in essence tells school districts that they're not allowed to change any curriculum or remove any instructional materials if the state of California recommends certain curriculum throughout the state. It basically eviscerates local control. Why even have a school board anymore? Because they don't really get to have any control over what children are taught. That will all be now decided by unelected bureaucrats in Sacramento working for the governor. Any school district that defies Assembly Bill 1078 will be fined millions of dollars in penalties. And so we're punishing those school districts and depriving them of resources that taxpayers have provided for the children's education. This also, in essence, silences any sort of input from parents on what children learn in the classroom. Here's the news story. Newsom bars school book bans. Again, the way the media is so dishonest and so biased in their coverage. What he should really say is the title should say Newsom silences parents who criticize curriculum, or Newsom ends local control of curriculum in classroom. But instead, no, the LA Times and the rest of the media outlets in California carrying the water as their liberal advocates always do. Newsom bars school book bans, LGBTQ and textbook bills signed into law amid growing culture wars. It's not a culture war when parents say that something is pornographic. That's not culture wars. That's simply preventing child abuse and keeping inappropriate content out of the classroom. It goes on to say school districts that seek to ban textbooks that portray LGBTQ plus people and the other historically marginalized groups could face hefty fines under a new California law. Now, look, no one is suggesting that we not talk about gay people in society. That is absolutely factually wrong. We'll share with you actual curriculum that parents are trying to remove from the classroom in just a moment. And that's a good example of why the media doesn't want to actually talk about specific books or specific curriculum, because they know if they actually gave examples to the public would be on the side of the parents and conservatives. But that's the way the media is going to spin this story. Here is Governor Gavin Newsom and the wingnut who authored this bill, Reggie Jackson, signing the bill in Sacramento.
It is a responsibility of every generation to making sure that the rights go on for the next generation to be able to enjoy.
Unless you're a parent, in which case your rights are taken away from you repeatedly. Unless you are trying to defend yourself, in which case your Second Amendment rights are taken away from you. Unless you are a conservative, in which case your First Amendment rights of religious freedom and freedom of speech are taken away from you. Don't lecture us, Mr. Jackson, on preserving constitutional rights. You people violate constitutional rights as a matter of political philosophy. So offensive.
Today is a special day, and so I want to thank
Today is a special day. Look at all the books behind me. Got some real pornography to talk about. More on that in just a minute. We're actually going to share examples. Stay tuned and make sure the kids are not in the room.
For being able to make sure that we meet this moment in history.
Well, I appreciate you and your leadership. Remarkable that we're living in a country right now in this banning binge, this cultural purge that we're experiencing all throughout.
By the way, cultural purge comes from the left wing of the political spectrum that talks about cancel culture. And more importantly, banning. You're basically banning schools from as you say it, banning books. And in a moment, he kind of like slips up and actually uses those words.
And now increasingly here in the state of California, where we have school districts, large and small, banning books, banning free speech, criminalizing librarians and teachers. And we want to do more than just push back rhetorically against that. And that's what this legislation provides. It allows us to become the second state. Illinois did a version of this that goes into effect in January. When I sign your bill, it will go into effect immediately in the state of California. Ban on book bans.
A ban on bans. We're banning the bans. Sometimes you just want to smack these guys.
Here in the state, this is long overdue, and this banning binge has to come to an end. So I'm grateful for your leadership, and with the simple signature, we can make that happen.
Thank you,
in our state. I'm grateful for your
leadership. Okay, so what are the issues that parents are concerned about? That's never actually talked about in the media. It's never covered in the paper. You don't actually get to see specific examples of the curriculum. But I encourage you to go check out the curriculum that many parents are fighting in California by going to the website supportcaparents.org, supportcaparents.org. When you go to that website, supportcaparents.org, here's the page that comes up. It's for our school board reform initiative that we have at Reform California. We're helping recruit candidates to run for school board. We're supporting candidates and endorsing them and training them. We're also organizing and supporting parent coalitions up and down the state of California. And you can sign up for a parents coalition at that website. You can make a contribution to this effort. And you can also become a volunteer in your area. Supportcaparents.org. But what you will also find is actual examples of curriculum that parents are objecting to. Let's start out first with the critical race theory. This is from Poway Unified School District, which, by the way, the Poway Unified School District superintendent lied to parents in saying that she doesn't even teach critical race theory, but we actually got a whistleblower to provide us with this ethnic studies course description. It's an optional course, obviously, for students in grades 9 to 12, but it does not need to have parental permission. The students get to decide whether they want to do this class. It's promoted to them. They're pressured to doing it. If you don't enroll in it, then you must be a racist. But here it goes on and on and on to talk about critical race theory. For example, analyze social creation of gender. I'm sorry, social creation of gender. I thought gender was biology, not a social creation. How it's impacted by culture and geography. Wait, does gender change based on what continent you're on? How it's changed over time in the U.S. Please. Including the usage of pronouns. Again, this is taught to people as though somehow this is a real development. Identify creation of social privileges. You know, the white privilege concept? How privileges operate collectively and individually. Analyze the roots of the American identity, who influenced it, who didn't. Identify one's own implicit bias and factors that shape it. I wonder if there's a self-flagellation session that they engage in. Examine the social creation of religion, how it plays how it plays in shaping culture, both when religion is practiced by a majority and minority of the population. Evaluate biases in the person's concept of identity. Analyze how bias can lead to discrimination on an individual and societal spectrum. She said no critical race theory was ever taught. Here it is. She's a liar. Define critical race theory, its roots in law, and evaluate its current role in academics. Master narratives, treatment of different groups, and so on and on and on and on. By the way, it goes on to basically say that in order to prove that you're not racist, that you have to take actions, and you have to take an action 17, responsibility for standing up to exclusion, prejudice, and injustice. Don't just sit there, join the Democrat Party. Action 20, I will join with diverse people to plan and carry out collective action against exclusion, prejudice, and discrimination. Sounds like recruiting people to be social justice warriors to me. Here's resources they're given. ADL, 10 ways youth can engage in activism. Another one, The Activist's Handbook, Winning Social Change in the 21st Century. Again, encouraging people to join Democrat and leftist groups. Now, let me also point out that there's another link there. It says controversial books with inappropriate content. Warning, contains explicit graphic sexual material not safe for work or for children. If you have any children in the audience, please ask them to leave the room. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. Here is what the media doesn't want to show you, that parents are trying to keep out of the classroom. Here are actual pages of books that parents would like out of the classroom that Gavin Newsom and Reggie Jackson and all the Democrats want to keep in the classroom. This is from a book called Genderqueer. This is actually a book that the left promotes as good for LGBT. I was 11 or 12 years old the first time I remember fantasizing about having a sexual body part. I was lying fully clothed on a hillside under an open sky. And then, of course, you see the illustrations. You see multiple illustrations. In 2013, I discovered Erica Moen's webcomic, Oh Joy, Sex Toy. Okay, so this is a book given to kids. This is a book that most parents don't want given to kids. Here's more from Genderqueer. You can see the images. I won't delve into the specifics. Here's another book called Flamer. 2 boys in the shower. A boy at camp. Here's Let's Talk About It. About how to have sex and various sexual hygiene. How about this one? This book is gay. Again, I'm scrolling through fast because it really is inappropriate. Talking about Grindr, a social network app for gay and bi men that you can put on your phone. Doesn't have an age restriction on it. A lot of bad things have happened on Grindr to kids. Defining various items such as an orgy. I won't go into the other topics. But this is material that parents do not feel is appropriate, that apparently Gavin Newsom thinks is appropriate, that we shouldn't be banning this, that we should be promoting this. But I call on the liberal media of California to actually cover the curriculum. You won't, because you're partisan. You're not journalists. You don't really want to talk about the two sides of the debate here. You don't want to talk about truth and reality of what parents are actually concerned about. Instead, you will basically support Gavin Newsom and Assembly Bill 1078, and you'll somehow pretend like this is the fight against hate and discrimination, when in fact, it is a bill that promotes inappropriate sexualized content in the classroom, inappropriate and divisive political curriculum in the classroom. You know it, we know it, and it's now our job for all of you watching this video. It is now our job to make sure that all the voters know it too come the next election. So I urge you, go to the website, supportcaparents.org. That's supportcaparents.org. If you're angry and upset about Assembly Bill 1078 and a whole host of other bad policies in the schools, don't just be upset. Get active. Contribute online at that campaign website. Sign up to be a member of a parent coalition in your area. Sign up to be a volunteer. And of course, during the election cycle, we will send you the Parents' Voice voter guide that tells you about each of the candidates running for school board in your area, as well as legislators, because these politicians must be punished at the polls. Parents need to rise up and rebel, not just attend school board meetings. They have to rise up and organize and start putting better people into office, not only at the local level, at the school board level, but now obviously in the state legislature, in the state assembly, in the state senate. So join us at Reform California in that fight. Share this video. Obviously, we've shared some of the inappropriate curriculum, but it's important that parents and the voters know exactly what the controversy is and why curriculum does need parental review, and parents do have a right to object to certain inappropriate curriculum from being put in the classroom. Share this video. Like this video, help us goose the algorithm so that we can get it out and break through the censorship of the liberal media. Please also subscribe to this page. That way you can remain updated on developments in this fight as we continue our campaign. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.